talk about a trend that we like now. Like, I love the natural brow look that's going on. I'm like, oh, thank you. You're catering to my
eyebrows feel so natural shape right now. I just like hyper focused on my eyebrows and I was like, oh, I hate that.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of Sometimes Ciabatta Slaps.
Episode 2, baby.
Let's go.
So in the first episode, you kind of got to know us a little bit personality-wise, good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a little bit more exposed than I thought it was going to be.
Those questions were like so intense. I was like, a lot of this I don't want to admit to strangers.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Love it. Love to see it.
Oh, so good. Okay, in this episode, we're going to be talking about our childhood selves.
Yes.
It's like living for your childhood self a bit.
That's been a big theme in a lot of things, a lot of the media that I've absorbed recently. So I thought it would be a good idea to do an episode on it.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's because it kind of ties back into as well, like what you do now versus like what your childhood self like always did. And is there like a reason people like stray away from that? And if they do stray, is that why people like hate their jobs in the future because they think they should do one thing, but their inner child is like, no, like let's do something that you always found fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Well, and the thing that kind of sparked this was I got to go to Cirque du Soleil and it was so fun because as a kid, I would spend hours watching a Cirque du Soleil video. Mm-hmm. And then now as an adult, I finally got to like go and watch Cirque du Soleil and it was the coolest experience ever. And like little 6-year-old Journey was just sitting in that chair and she was just bawling her eyes out. It was so cool.
Oh, that's so fun.
I know. I was like sitting there,
very jealous.
Don't cry. Don't cry. This is so good. This is so good. Don't cry. This
emotions,
is so good.
Emotions overwhelmed.
You're happy. Don't cry.
I love that.
I know. It was really good.
I don't even, for me, like just doing this, like just going with this side fuels like my creative like side as a child. Like I loved making music videos no matter how awful they were. Like we all know the ones like the photo booth, iMovie, early garage band, like circa 2008.
Yeah. To prep for this episode, we watched some of those videos and it was just like, that's something that I did.
It's like you slightly cringe, but it's also just so funny to watch.
Yeah. Amazing.
In other news, how was your week?
It was actually pretty good. I was really, really tired.
Yeah.
But it was good. And, sorry. Maybe I'll put that on Do Not Disturb. No, it was good because, I don't know, I had 3 days off in a row and that was awesome. And I got to go to Cirque du Soleil.
I love that.
And then we worked out super early Monday morning.
Which was killer.
Yeah, that was killer. And then Anne today at the gym, she was like, I saw your partner this morning. And I was like, yeah, she came super early and I just wasn't going to wake up that early to go work out with her. She's like, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Oh,
but
so good. I don't know. I felt so accomplished. Like I've been doing 6:15 workouts all week this week, which is bittersweet because I'm so tired and it means I don't have a lot of time to work on stuff in the evening. Yeah. Especially when you work all day, naturally. But no, this morning it was like, okay, day off, work out early, and then I went and got some like fresh sourdough because Cobb's right beside the studio.
What a poor placement. I'm like, I'm working out to fresh cinnamon bun smell, and I'm like, well, now I'm just gonna go put that 400 calories on that I just burned.
Yeah. No, I got some fresh sourdough with my avocado toast, and it was like, so good.
That's good.
Very happy. I love that.
That's good. Did you have a good week?
I did. I just worked. Yeah. Sweat a lot.
Oh.
It is so hot in the shop right now.
I literally dreamt that we got a new air conditioner.
Oh, it's a dream.
And then I dreamt about doing lunges because I knew today was leg day.
You did a lot of lunges.
And then today. I went to work and I went to work out and I did more lunges.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yes. So yeah, we're doing our childhood selves today.
Oh, so fun. Yeah, to prep for this, I looked back on some old journals that my mom kept from when we were kids. She would like write down for important parts of like the month and stuff and what we did and fun things, and then would like attach like tape photos and other trinkets like a concert ticket or other things onto them.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. I was having a good laugh last night.
Those were amazing.
Because like I like remember it too, and there's so many parts of it that I remember so much. But to see it, like to see like the sassy little poses and the like, there's one thing where it's like mom said like, oh yeah, you're getting so smart, but you need to be nicer to me. Like, stop eye rolling, stop talking back. I'm like, oof.
I know, and this episode's going to be really good because it turns out we have very, very similar childhood memories of doing very similar things, and it makes sense that we have the same personality, because we'd be like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, there's a picture of me rock climbing. I used to love rock climbing. And I'm like, me too. And then we both had a rock climbing birthday party, and it's just like crazy how similar it was. Like,
and even though like, to know, we both grew up in different provinces. Like I'm originally from just outside of Winnipeg, and so all these experiences happened while I was in Winnipeg, and then I moved to Calgary area in 2007.
Yes. And then I lived in buttfuck nowhere, central Alberta, small little town. Yeah. And I was homeschooled, so my friends were my siblings. And so all the cringy videos that I have was of me and my siblings, and then you were so lucky to have so many good friends that would do that with you, because not a lot of my friends would do that with me.
I don't know if my friends necessarily wanted to. That'd be something to like kind of look back on. I was just very bossy and just directed everyone.
Yeah.
Which makes sense now. I'm still bossy. Just nicer about it.
We call it leadership quality as an adult.
Yes. I have strong leadership abilities. Add that to the resume.
Yes.
I think it's already on there.
That's good. I need to add it.
Hardworking leadership abilities.
Yep.
AKA determined and bossy.
I thought you were going to say bitchy.
That too.
I was like, okay.
Catch me in the wrong mood.
Okay. I see you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are some things that you were like proud of who you are as an adult? Who that your childhood self would have been proud of? So my childhood self was very, very ambitious and very much loved to travel, or loved the idea of travel. And so I think the first thing would be that she'd be so stoked of how many places I've been to and traveled. I lived in a different country for a year. And all the adventurous type of stuff. Yeah.
Like a lot of I looked back also in old notebooks at home too, with bucket lists and stuff, and a lot of my bucket list items were things like skydiving and scuba diving and flying in a helicopter or going to a volcano. Like I've done all these fun things.
That's so fun.
That I think my childhood self would be like super stoked about.
Yeah.
And even now, like the creative projects, I love to design and create in all spaces. Yeah. And so I'm not doing like interior design, fashion design. I interior design my own house, but parents' house. But
and mine.
And, just everyone I walk into your space and I'm like, you should do that.
Yeah, that looks way better. Like, cool, my couch is now in my kitchen, but I like the way my living room looks.
But so I think she would be really like stoked about that side of things of what I've done. Yeah. How about you?
I think she would be very stoked about my university degree.
Okay.
And how, because I've always, as a kid, my mom calls me a smart little whippersnipper. And how I'm just always learning and always absorbing the knowledge, and just like having the opportunity to go to university and get that knowledge and then like successfully complete it, be on the dean's list, like do just so well at it, was something that I felt very, very proud of myself for.
Ooh, she's smart.
Oh yeah. I just, a little flex.
Dean's list, that's tea.
Yeah, I know. I'm like really cool. But that's something that like I worked really hard for, and then I got it, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Little Journey would be so happy. But also like with the podcast, I was also making the movie or the music videos and doing photo shoots, and I found some terrible skits on my phone and fashion designing. And I think one thing that I didn't really have written down was my sense of style.
Okay.
Because as a kid, so cringy. So cringy. I was wearing all of the fun things that I loved at one time, and they did not go.
But honestly, that's the early 2000s, though. Like,
that's true.
You wear your favorite pair of jeans and you wear your favorite skirt over top of those jeans.
Yes.
And you have a hat and pigtails and beads in the pigtails and hair wraps.
And that's
like,
very much
it.
like, yeah, your makeup is just horrendous because you got a new blush kit and you didn't know how to use it.
Very maximalist.
But like now, I'm finding a way to find the fun pieces of clothing that I love and like wearing them in a way that looks a little less chaotic. Because that was something that my dad would always be like, oh my goodness, you have such a fun sense of style. And I'm like, yeah. And then I thought I was losing it. But then I wore this super fun dress to Cirque du Soleil. And I was like, nah, she's still got it. She's still fun.
I think what like fed my ego was I loved like mixing prints and patterns and all that kind of stuff. And so I'd have like a graphic t-shirt with like a vest over it, and then I'd have like checkered pants or something.
I can see it in my whole...
And then like another, like a polka dot hat.
Yeah.
Or a cheetah print hat or something like that.
Yeah.
And my aunt, who I like absolutely idolized, she lived in LA, and I thought like she's like the fashionista of all fashionistas. Like she knows what's up. She would compliment me and I was like, ah, I know it.
Right?
I look back on those and I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I'm not cringe by it though, but like it's like the poses that I'm like, oh yeah, you thought you were hot.
Oh yeah. Love that.
I'm like, why am I not absolutely popular?
No, you are.
Like, I look just like Selena Gomez.
Just like Selena Gomez. It's the belt over top of the vest, over top of the print, over top of the third tank top.
Yeah. And even now, like my 18-year-old cousin grew up in LA, always into fashion.
Yeah.
Never had that like insane awkward phase. Like for her, she was like 6 or 7, which makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah. And so I'm like, I can't relate to that because I had very much the awkward phase. And her older sister had like the phase that I idolized as a kid.
Yeah.
So thankfully, though, I wasn't allowed to tweeze my eyebrows. Otherwise, I would have had very thin eyebrows at 7 years old. But
I don't love pain, so I still don't tweeze my eyebrows.
Oh yeah. Well, now that talk about a trend that we like now, like I love the natural brow look that's going on. I'm like, oh, thank you. You're catering to my
eyebrows feel so natural sticky shape right now. I just like hyper focused on my eyebrows, and I was like, oh, I hate that. Anyway. Okay. We'll pretend that didn't happen. Good.
ADHD coming out.
Love it. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But then, like, what about like differences? Is there anything like that you're doing now, or anything more that you're proud of? Like,
I mean, like, I always wanted to work in a coffee shop.
Yeah, me too.
Could not have imagined that this is what working at a coffee shop is like. When I owned my Mustang, that was something that was so huge for me because that was my dream car. My dad and I were going to buy an old Mustang and we were going to fix it up. But then we just bought one that ran and was good.
Okay.
And so driving that was just like, most of mine were like materialistic things, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's interesting, like material. I loved experiences. And even now, I think that's still true.
Yeah.
Even though I have had a bit of a spending addiction, like that's because I haven't been out traveling and doing and doing all these things. So I've kind of like found another mode of achieving that, like serotonin.
Love it.
But no, always as a kid, it was like, I want to do this activity. I want to do this activity. I want to do this activity.
Yeah.
And at the point in my life where I really felt like I had lost myself was when I wasn't doing those things. I was lazy. I was stagnant.
Well, I find like when I was a kid, I was way more adventurous and willing to do things than I am now. Now I overthink a lot of things and I just like make up scenarios. I'm like, that the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. So then I don't go out and do those fun things. Like I used to climb trees all the time. But now if I get too far off the ground, I get nervous. And so I'm like, why did that, I know why that changed, but why did I get, or how did I get less adventurous? Yeah. Like that. I don't know. One time we were, because I wanted to be a marine biologist, as everyone does in grade 4. And
we all know
then
the girls, their favorite color is blue.
yeah, it still is. So yeah, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and then we went to Belize and we were snorkeling, and I'm afraid of fish. And that's maybe not what a marine biologist needs. No. And there was like a giant 6-foot stingray like swimming, but it was kind of like coming up towards me. And my mom's like, you walked on water. You got back to that beach so fast. And I was like, yeah, no, I was freaking out. But like young Journey would have been like, that's so cool, blah, blah, blah. But I'm afraid of fish, so she didn't love it.
A plus marine biologist.
Yeah, so that's when I decided that maybe that's not the career choice for me.
That's so funny. Yeah. No, I was always design, food, interior design, fashion, food.
Yeah.
Directing, creative of sorts. Like all of that was like holds true to this day. Those are all things that I really, really thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
Even photography. Like I love the creation of photos now, and I've definitely naturally honed in on my photography abilities. I know my color scheme, I know my style. But when I was younger, I loved being behind the camera, and I loved directing my sister. I'm like, you're gonna pose like this on here, I'm gonna get this light, and this is how it's gonna look. Yeah. And I could see it before I even took the photo. And so when it came out, everyone was like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So like that like visualization, I think is, so I still have to this day, and holds very true to like why I think I was able to achieve what I've done.
And I feel like that's something that I lacked, which is why I never really expanded on like photography and music videos, because I would just kind of go with the flow, and if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, and then I'd stop completely. But I couldn't have that initial visual in my mind of what that shot was going to look like, and then how to manipulate the camera to get the light and get the angles and do all that. So I just never really tried.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
But no, like where I used to be so excited about photography, I kind of fell off in high school because my like creative like digital arts and design teacher made it so linear, and you kind of have to when you teach a class, right? Where I did not suit well with that. Yeah. And so where I was trying to do all these things and trying to recreate what was going on in my head, it just fell flat because I was like more so trying to copy someone else, whereas now I can see it as a lot more natural, and I know what I want to do, and it's come back to me. But yeah, I did lose it there for a while. Yeah. When I had to do it for a project and like take a photo of this tomato and make it look beautiful. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Yeah. How do I make this look beautiful without making it look like a stock image for like Safeway?
Well, that could be beauty. That's what I would try and do. I would try to make it look like the most generic tomato.
Yeah. But like I stunted myself because of that. I felt so like...
Yeah. Because it wasn't your own image. Yeah. It was someone else's.
And with that, I also like cut off so many opportunities because like, no, I'm moving on to the next thing. This isn't working out for me, blah, 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 blah. Like my dad gave me the opportunity to meet a photographer for National Geographic.
Oh, wow.
And I turned it down.
Boo.
I'm like, that is one thing. If I have any regrets in my life, that's one thing I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have just like gone. Yeah. Just met them. Even if I didn't end up becoming a National Geographic photographer. Yeah. That would have been so cool.
So cool.
And that would have, like, had I gone that route and had that succeeded for me, like, that would have combined, like, my creativity and my travel.
Yeah, exactly.
In one.
Well, and what a good contact to have in your back pocket, too, right? Like.
Right?
Yeah.
At every 13-year-old ever, network.
Yeah.
Do not stunt yourself, because it's not your thing.
Yeah. I didn't really, like, understand the importance of networking until, like, university. So I have contacts of so many people who I've never really contacted, but I've gotten them from a teacher, and she's like, let them know, like, talk to them, like, use them to work for you, kind of. And I'm like, okay. But then I just didn't do anything with them. Yeah. But I'm like, I should really just put my name out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's, like, spent so many years stunting myself with scenarios like that. Yeah. Right? Where, I mean, even I used to be a figure skater, and I quit to start working so I could start traveling, like make money and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But that was only part of it. I also quit because I'm like, well, I'm never going to be a part of the Olympics, so what's the point, right? Yeah. And that I let that idea ruin the fun for me. And so I was like moody. I didn't want to show up. I felt embarrassed that these kids that were younger than me were doing so much better than me, but they're also not 5'10" and 180 pounds at 14 years old.
Yeah. No, it's very different.
Right? They are 5 foot or 4'9" for some of them because they're children.
Yeah.
80 pounds, and they can launch themselves into the air like easy breezy. Whereas like
Crazy.
I had to work for it.
Yeah.
And there was 2 other skaters like me, same height, same weight, roughly. And one of them actually continued skating all through university, and she's really like big athlete, but she's also so smart. She's studying like psychology as well and stuff,
cool,
which is fun. But like I had a conversation with her the other day too about how we just felt so abnormal in that crowd, but we were able to relate to each other because we were both like the big girls.
Right.
And
love that.
Yeah. It was just a weird, and even then, like, we weren't even that big.
Yeah,
we just weren't 5'2".
Yeah, that sport is catered to petite women, which is not fun for women who are not petite, who are like, I still love this, I still want to do this, but like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it so much harder for me?
And like, yeah, I did follow that passion though. Everyone, my dad especially, he's like, you should play hockey. You should play hockey. You'd be so good at hockey. Yeah. And I would have been no one wants to run into me.
That's true.
Like, body check me, I dare you. It would not be good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be like dainty, and I wanted to like spin and dance and do all the ballerina and princess things that I admired as a kid.
Definitely.
Loved the girly side of it.
Yeah. But well, that's one thing that like I used to dance when I was younger, and I was really bad. But it's because of just like the moves were different for me because I was so long. Like my legs were so long and my arms were so long and my torso was so long that the moves looked completely different than what I was doing. I couldn't do hip hop because I couldn't do the like fast, jagged movements because my arms were so long that even just getting there was like not the same as...
It's like lagged in a way.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah. And so then I wish that I had like recognized that and not internalized it and made it like, oh, I'm just bad at dancing. And then gone to like ballet or something where
the long would have been...
want to be long and skinny and tall.
Your poor feet would be so fucked up though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, not good. One of my dance teachers had to get like one of her toenails removed from doing pointe. And I was like, that's yummy.
I only got like a small taste of that, like with toe picking and skating.
Yeah.
And I could not have long toenails. I trimmed them right down to the point where they're below the skin because it freaking hurt otherwise.
Yeah. No, I can only imagine. But yeah, and even just like, I want to, as an adult now, start... I'm feeling like that's something that's missing. Okay. I want to act again. I want to dance again.
Fun.
Yeah, I know. I want to get a piano so I can play music.
So fun.
So those are all things that were huge parts of my childhood that I'm like, even just going to Cirque du Soleil, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to dance again. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I need to go to a play. I need to just have that creativity in my life again because it feels like it's something that's really lacking.
That's so fun.
Right?
So fun.
So, catch me at Jubilation's dinner theater.
I would I'd fully support that. That'd be so...
No, I don't know that I can act again. I was pretty bad at that too.
But even just doing like improv or something would be fun.
Maybe not. No. One of my cousins was an improv guy and he was actually really, really good at it. But, like, the panic of, like, sitting down and not having, like, a script. No, we did, like, an audience participation one, and I would just shut down.
Let me tell you, though, that'd be so good for development, though.
100%.
Personal development.
100% it would.
I think that would break you out of, like, the last little bit of shell that you have.
Oh, definitely. And it would really, I think it would help me, like, think on my feet more and just, like, wake up my neurons and be like, okay, stop overthinking your responses. Just say it. Yeah. Which could be good and could be bad because going back to childhood me, bit of a smart ass.
Maybe we'll try it.
You and I are going to go to an improv class?
Yeah, Mak and Jubes take on improv.
Yes, and?
Good. That's what
we got it. We got it mastered.
Yes, and. That's all you need to know.
That's amazing.
Us on stage just being yes, and.
I want to go to the park. Yes, and. Yes, and. Yes, and.
Yes, and I want ice cream.
Yes, and let's go get it.
Yes, and right now.
Please. Oh my goodness.
Oh, so good.
We love to see it.
So I guess like, yeah, so what's different in your life that your childhood self would be kind of like, oh, like I thought it was going to be like this, but clearly that's not the case. Or do you have anything?
Well, I used to just like live like my life was like a movie. Like I'd wait for those like
The movie moments.
yes.
Yes.
The like looking out of a car window while it's raining and a sad song is playing and you're like, I am moody.
Like Lizzie, like Hillary Duff, rain,
Yeah.
like let the rain fall down. Yeah. Wake my dreams.
Just like the fun little moments where like, so then I'd put too much into those moments and then I would like ruin the moment. And then it would just like, but there's not really anything, like it's harder. Life is harder. And I'm definitely not as happy, carefree as I was. I was very naive as a child. And I'm still very, but like...
Do you think though it's actually naivety, or do you think it's like something's missing that you haven't fulfilled that's causing that?
I think it's just like I'm on birth control and it's just making me sad.
So hormones.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's very much not who I am. And I notice a change immediately. But other than that, I feel like my life is pretty much... I didn't think I'd be staying in Alberta. That's huge. Even though when I was younger, I wanted to be a fashion designer and I was going to go to the Olds College in Calgary. So then I was going to end up in Calgary. But then when I changed and I went to Halifax, I didn't really have a plan after that. Like it was like graduate university, and that's kind of where my life plan ended.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea what to expect after that. I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't know who I'd be dating. I didn't know what university would look like for me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's funny too. I mean, for me, it's more so high school, Michaela, like, really was like, get me out of Alberta. Get me out
100%.
of Canada. Get me out of everything that I know. And so for me to be back caused a lot of, like, depression-ish.
Yeah.
Until I started networking again.
Yeah.
Because everyone I had known was gone, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, great. I did all these fun, cool things, and now I'm back living at my parents' house. Well, all my friends are getting engaged and having kids, and people from high school have moved away and are doing the things that I want to be doing again.
Yeah.
But with, I don't know, the world shutting down, it also forced me to, like, come back and, like, reset. Because my health wasn't good and my physical health wasn't good, and it was just, it felt very weird, but also very comforting to be back home, like, with my parents.
Yeah.
But now,
Definitely.
kidding me with this depression? There's no way in hell I'm moving out of my parents' house if I don't have to.
I think we're gonna have a recession pretty soon.
It is, why on earth would I pay like $1,300 in rent for a studio in freaking...
Yeah.
Like, that's what the housing market is right now.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no way.
It's ridiculous, and it's so debilitating for everyone.
When I could be, like, at home at my parents for free, because that's our deal, home is free, and work on my savings and work on my investments and
Exactly.
have money to invest now so it can grow.
Build that nest egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not, like, hating my life at 27.
Yep.
Like, why would I? I'm very privileged to have parents who are, like, who have a house and are good, and well, why wouldn't I, like, utilize that?
Exactly. And that's one thing that I feel very grateful for, is that I was allowed the opportunity to achieve all of my childhood goals. There was nothing that I wasn't able to achieve. And so I feel very thankful that I was born into a situation where I could do that, where I had parents who would support me, and now I have a boyfriend who supports me on every single little endeavor.
So we're gonna do this really fun thing where my camera doesn't want to record past 30 minutes.
Yes.
So we're always going to get a choppy moment around 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Apologies. I'm not buying a professional digital camera that just doesn't stop recording right now.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. It's episode 2. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, as you said, like, I'm very much in a similar situation, right? I was very privileged. I was very supported. I was very, but it also was like a lot of hard work and good money habits and all of these practices that allowed me to do the things that I wanted to do without restriction.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
was, I am very grateful for.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it allowed me the opportunity to then like support my friends. When I bought my grad dress, I was able to pay it out in full, and I bought my friend's grad dress as well. Yeah. So I was able to just drop that just on the spot, just so she could go take it home and have it. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I'll pay you back," and I'm like, "Yeah, like no rush."
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so I think that I was able to then, but if I was struggling, I think I would be a lot more selfish, and maybe a little bit more, not malicious, but you know what I mean? Like I would feel like the world's out to get me, and so I can't spend anything or do anything, like because we've been,
I think maybe
good and comfortable.
Cautious is the right word.
Yeah,
definitely. And I was like, definitely in university, I worked really hard in the summer. I was very fortunate to get a good job so that I could live off campus and like buy my own groceries, and I was doing fine. So one of the things that I would always do, and I still do now, is whenever someone would come over, I fed them. Yeah. Rarely would you come to my house and I wouldn't feed you. Yeah. Because I knew that a lot of my friends who were struggling, I was like, well, at least you have a good meal so that you can think properly. Because you can think better with a full belly. So, like, that was one thing that I made sure that I was like, hey, like, come over around this time. And then I'm like, okay, they'll stay for supper. So then I can, like, make this food so that they'll eat. Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, I guess on that note, too, I think another thing my childhood self would be proud of is my ability to forgive. Yeah. I don't hold grudges. Yeah. And as a kid, I was very much like, you piss me off and I'm going to, like, for example, there's a story in this journal that I was reflecting on where, like, my cousin, we had a fight about pool table balls and then I ripped his pajamas. Like, I did not know how to, like, regulate that. So I just, like, went to destruction. Or, like, there was this time in, I don't know, first grade or so, and I was building a snow fort, and this kid came up and kept kicking down the walls of my snow fort, and I got so pissed off I almost hit him with a shovel.
Oh, good.
And teacher, I had it above my head, ready to, like, full batter up, like, style. Yikes. And the teacher, like, yelled at me, and, like, I just didn't know how to control that at that time. And so now I'm very much kind of like, oh, forgive and forget, like, whatever. Yeah. Very passive about these things, which I think if childhood Mac saw that, she would be like, oh, okay, yeah, like, because I very much adopted more of my mom's mannerisms and behaviors. Yeah. Which is something I very much looked up to my mom when I was a kid. Yeah. She's like, a little angel can do no wrong. I still look up to my mom. I'm still angrier than she is. Like, I don't know how.
That's good. That's fun.
She gets, like, pushed around so much and is like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just too passive aggressive to really let anything really bother me. So you just walk all over me and I'll be like, sorry. Was I in the way of your feet? I'll move. Don't even worry about it. But then I'll go home and just be, like, in my brain, like, oh, whatever. Yeah. And just, like, so mad. I'll be, like, in the shower, like, fake fighting you. And I'm like, oh, that's such a sick burn. Ooh, got you. 2 days after the whatever happened.
But that only hurts yourself, right? It's like,
yeah, it's very, very destructive for me. Holding on to
grudges is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Yeah, and I'm very good at that.
Were you ever that as a kid? Like, was that same way?
I probably, yeah. Yeah. I kind of adopted this thing where I wasn't really allowed to tell people how I was thinking because then I would get in trouble. So I wasn't allowed to say, hey, I don't like that. You made me feel not good, because I would get in trouble.
Ah, shoot.
So it's kind of like an unfortunate coping, or not like coping mechanism, but like, I don't know the right word for that, but that was kind of how it...
Adaptation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, where as a child I'd get in trouble for silly things and then really internalize it, and I'm like, okay, well, as an adult, I'm just not going to say anything because it's safer. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that then adds to like your, I guess, distress?
Definitely. Because I can't vocalize how it is because I'm so afraid of how they're going to view me negatively or whatever. So that's something that I really want to work on, and I'm really proud of myself for working on because, and then it's really, that's kind of another thing that was bringing up the like childhood life things is like, oh, I remember one time I got in trouble and my dad called me a smart aleck, and I was like, ooh, I'm a smart aleck. That means I'm smart. And he's like, that's not what that means. And I was like, well, what does it mean? But he didn't want to swear in front of me, and he couldn't really
But you can't deny that that's not a witty response, though.
Exactly, and he can't say, no, you're not smart. So I find it funny to look back on that memory and like think of it as the parent, because you're in this fun little situation where like you can't really call your kid dumb, but you're like, hey, that was a really funny, smart ass thing to say. But like what you said wasn't good. I don't even remember what I said. I just remember everything after that.
No, I had less of that, like, I think to my face, other than the fact that my mom, like, wrote in that book journal, like, you gotta be nicer to me.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of, like, situations like that with, like, friends.
Oh, yeah.
And so social development for me was, I think the thing that was maybe most difficult. I think I was always very self-aware, and I was always, like, good, but, like, the managing, like, social interactions and, like, kids, right? So
yeah.
This one girl who was my friend, she called me dense. And I'm the oldest. So I was very semi-sheltered and stuff as a kid. And I was like, oh yeah, like I do have a lot of hair.
I love that. That is my favorite story ever in the entire world.
But it's like, then, like, what? Like no, you're stupid. I'm like, oh, yeah, I fucking proved your point.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
I have to roll with it. Like, yeah, I have a big head and lots of hair. Like, I'm stupid.
Yeah, dense. Yeah, I have a lot of hair. You are dense, aren't you, sweetheart?
So that was, like, very developmental for me, too. Because I'm like, oh, great. Love this.
Amazing.
Love that for me. That's embarrassing, but it builds character in the end. I think that's
true.
Part of the reason why, like, things just kind of roll off my back, and I'm like, well, said that. Can't change it.
Got thick hair, so I'm dense, baby.
Roll with it. Just talk about it some more. Why don't I?
Oh, that's awesome. No, I definitely internalize and, like, harbor, like, feelings and emotions, and, like, I'm really good at, like making up how the other person's feeling, which we'll talk about more in another episode. But I'll be like, oh, that person got quiet. I offended them. What did I do wrong? And then I just, like, berate myself. And I'm like, how did you, like, what did you say that would do that? Maybe don't say that again. Like, but the other person, it could have just been a normal response. That nothing actually happened. And they're just like, okay, I'm quiet now. Yeah. But I, like, read too much into that situation. Yeah.
And does that come from any, like, personality traits that you can think of?
I'm sure it must.
Or do you think that's more just, like, again, like, social development kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, like, I was homeschooled, so I was only with my brother and sister, so I got really good at reading them. And so then when they would get mad, they would get silent. And same with my mom.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that has come from, like, reading their emotions, and then I just project how they used to act onto other people. So I think that's kind of where that comes from. But
fun.
I know. Love it.
Fun stuff.
Big fun.
Big fun.
And on that note, what's our next question?
I guess we're going to talk about some, like, things that I thought would be different. Like, my childhood self. Like, always as a kid, I always romanticized love and romance.
Yeah.
My parents have a very healthy relationship, and I loved the Disney movies, and I still love the Disney movies. I love the idea of, like, magic in the world.
Yeah.
But I've never been in a relationship. Been on a few dates. Absolute duds.
Yeah.
A couple, like, good ones, but we're, like, more friends than anything. And
yeah.
But nothing that has that, like, movie moment spark.
Right.
And I haven't experienced that. And I think that's one thing that does cause like a lot of longing is for that.
Definitely.
So I want to be in love and I want to do all the fun, ooey gooey romantic things.
Yeah.
Make myself vomit a little bit, being like, oh, that's so cringy, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to have my, like, Prince Charming moment.
Yeah.
And that very much comes from, I guess, watching all the things as a kid, but it's beautiful. I don't know.
It is, yeah.
Everyone who, like, rips on Disney movies, I'm like, who hurt you? Like,
yeah,
it's still a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's not realistic always, yeah, but, like, what's the harm in, like, aiming for that?
Exactly. Why is it bad to look up to someone and be like, hey, or like Cinderella, for example, like she started off in this shitty life situation. She fell in love with Prince Charming. He took her to this beautiful castle, gave her the life she loved, and just like loved her. Like, why is that something terrible to look up to?
Yeah, because people are like, well, he forced her to come and stay in the castle, and I'm like, no, you look into that, you're gonna make everything shitty. That's such a negative mindset.
Like, she got away from her abusive step family. Like, yeah. I do not see how this is bad.
Her father died. She was a servant to her siblings and stepmother. Like, yeah, bada boom, she rules them now.
This is good.
Power move.
The only one that I kind of have a little bit of an issue would be like Belle. Yeah. Because he did hold her captive. But then I also like romanticized that.
But see, Belle's one of my favorite ones. I love how she kind of like made him soft. Yeah. Right? And that's...
It's the, you can change them.
Yeah. Which, again, you shouldn't go into always. But it is, like, just for someone who is, like, so harsh around the edges, even with friendships, right? I'm not trying to go out and make friendships and just change people always. Yeah. But I think there is something about, like, she was so sure of herself. Yeah. Right? She was so selfless to the point that she, like, influenced.
Yeah. 100%. He saw the beauty and the carefree and the love for learning and just who she was and was like, you know what? I like that.
But even, like, pre-captivity, Gaston... He wanted her and she was like, piss off.
So toxic. Red flag.
Beast over Gaston any day.
100%. Because the Beast is hot at the end of the movie.
Childhood crush. Actual childhood crush.
Yeah. They kind of did him dirty in the live action remake or whatever.
No. Beast in human form. And then Chad Michael Murray. 2 childhood crushes of mine.
Yeah.
2 different types, but...
Zac Efron and Justin Bieber.
Oh, yes. The flippy hair.
Yeah. I have a type.
White boy flippy hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like those videos that's like, show your childhood crush and show who you ended up with.
Oh, I did well.
10th grade Bryce.
Yeah.
It's that.
Is Justin Bieber. Yeah. And Zac Efron.
So good.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
And I guess, yeah, one more thing that I think my childhood self would, like, think that would be different is my outward appearance. Okay. I always pictured myself as, like, skinnier, edgier, more tattoos, like, kind of biker girl-ish in a way. Because I loved that. I thought it was so fun to be so, like, punk and edgy. And I'm like, but I never achieved that. Yeah. I always achieved, like, the dollar store version of that.
And see, that's funny because I think... the way you are now is so suiting to who you are. Because you're just like a natural, healthy, just like nice person. All my words went out, but I'm trying to give you a compliment. You're just the way you look fits who you are, and it's just like yeah.
Which is funny how that changes, right? Because again, Mac thought it was me as like cool, punk, rebellious, like have like the white stripe in your hair and like really dark hair, and loved it. But now I'm like this like kind of semi-coastal like athletic girl. Yeah. Which doesn't mind me if I can wear yoga pants and sweaters all day. And
oh yeah, what a mood.
Beautiful.
100%.
But yeah, no, so there's different things like that. But my personality, I'd say, does suit the image that I had in my head as a kid. Yeah. Like, I very much am more rebellious in my thoughts and in my practices. And I'm like, I don't feel the need to categorize everything so much. Like, let people be people. Yeah. And stop trying to, like, set boundaries and restrictions. And even in mental health, I love psychology and I love being able to, like, express things and whatnot. But I think we need to watch with labeling.
Yes.
Because some people take these diagnoses to a point where they're crippling themselves.
100%.
Oh, I have depression. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you have depression, but the whole point of psychology is to then or therapy is to then shift your mindset out of
Yeah.
it. Here you have this, that's why you're feeling this way, but here's how you can make it better.
Yeah.
But so many people are like, oh no, I have it. I can't achieve anything in life.
Yeah, and it's so limiting.
Yeah. And so it's like the limiting beliefs mindset that I really trying to avoid, where I think, I don't know, we over-diagnose and over-analyze
100%.
certain things.
And yeah, even just like self-diagnosing. I've self-diagnosed myself with so many things. But it comes from a place where I'm like, oh, everyone has this. I want to be part of that.
And it's another part of things too, right? It's like a club. It's like a longing to feel something or be something.
And that's something that's very suiting with who I was as a kid. Because I always wanted to oh, other people had this. Well, I want to have that too.
Yeah. Wanting to fit in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that ties into that too, right? Like a lot of it could be unfulfilled childhood needs. And that's why even on social media now, like talking about your inner child has become so popular, which is good. Because I think it's a lot of things that people were masking.
Exactly. And I think it's really, really, it's going to be really healthy for us to live for our inner child. Because I think that's something that we've, as a society, have moved away from. Where we're so caught up with being adults. And
thanks, Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. Why can I not, I don't know, play with Barbies as a 22-year-old? Why do I have to be worried about my taxes?
Yeah.
Obviously, I understand the practicality of being worried about your taxes, but
screw taxes.
Yeah.
Get rid of taxes.
Amen. But also, I understand the importance of, now you're living as an adult and you have to look after yourself and there's things that you need to do, but I don't think you should get so bogged down by that you can't enjoy other pleasures in your life. Which is kind of what I struggle with. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go to work and then I gotta go home and then I vacuum and then I make supper and then I do laundry and then I clean things. But I'm like, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be playing video games, or I want to be working on the podcast or doing research or doing things that excite me.
Yeah.
But the way we are right now doesn't allow for that.
Well, it's not I'm a huge fan of the new idea that a lot of even school systems now are having is 4-day work weeks.
Yes.
4-day school days.
That's so nice.
Because it allows more time for play.
Yeah. Which is so, so important. Yeah.
Because without a lack of play comes a lack of development, honestly.
Exactly.
Play is how you learn as a kid.
100%.
You learn through experiences. You learn through creation. You learn through XYZ. And it is so influential for brain development.
And you get to explore the things that you like and things you don't like and work through imaginary scenarios.
And then you're able to then go out into the real world with confidence.
Yeah.
And be like, oh no, I know I don't like this because of this.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's very cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, my mom's a teacher, and so her division is actually playing around with the idea of starting 4-day
that's so nice.
School weeks.
Well, yeah, even with us at work, we both asked for we'll work 4 9-hour days. So that we can have 3 days off to do things outside of work, because our work is so exhausting that you don't really have the energy to do anything after work. And you work all day. So then your day is gone. So it's nice to just have that extra time to play.
Yeah. To play, to keep yourself sane.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's good.
No, very good.
Is there any personality traits that you say that helped you achieve the things you have?
I don't know. I'm happy-go-lucky, and so then I just do it. And people I feel like I'm just lucky. I get lucky in a whole bunch of situations. Where I got lucky being promoted to shift supervisor. That's something, that I didn't expect, but it put me into a position of power where I feel I don't know, good about it or whatever. Like, even going to university, I feel like I got lucky by just being on the dean's list because I found all my classes, quote, easy.
But I think that's like, but there's a hard work, like there's a work ethic.
Yeah, and so I had
that.
I was really fortunate because, like, I was homeschooled, so I had that work ethic that was needed and necessary for university, where I could just work by myself and just do it. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, tenacity's come up quite a bit in my thoughts. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't really say I'm tenacious because I'm also very quick to give up, it feels like.
Yeah. I can't speak for that. I don't know.
I don't know. So, yeah. And I even can't even think of, like, an example of when I was just like, no, okay, I'm done with that. So, I don't know. But, I don't know. I feel like just happy-go-lucky and then hard work and just my creativity.
Yeah.
I feel like.
No, for me, it's definitely I'm very stubborn.
Yes.
Very stubborn, and which also falls under determined, focused.
Yeah.
XYZ. Once I have a vision, you're not much like budging me.
Yeah.
And I've been that since I was a small child.
Yeah.
Hi, we're doing this. It's going to look like this. I don't know, and it's going to end like this, and then we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And again, bossy maybe.
No.
But no, my determination, like, I am able to put my head down and work to achieve what I want to achieve.
100%.
Right? I started working in 10th grade, and I had about 10 grand saved up by graduation.
That's nice.
And I traveled.
Yeah.
I had all my savings to travel.
Yeah.
And I went to most of the places I want to go to. My travel list is still, I think, forever going to be long.
100%.
Just because there's new things that pop up all the time. But I still have, like, a fund for that. Not the same value right now because it's all gone. I spent it all.
Yeah.
But to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Once I have an idea, I'm able to put my head down. I'm able to just rock with it.
Just do it.
And once I feel inspired about that, it also kind of helps my creative side.
Yeah.
Because I get excited.
Yeah.
And then I'm like almost overwhelming about it. Like, how many times do I text you 45 messages in a row with, like, ideas
Yep.
that just pop into my head as I'm doing schoolwork?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You just brain wanders and you're like, oh my goodness, I love this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm also, I think, my intuition also, I think, helps me achieve what I've achieved.
Yeah.
My gut feelings has kept me out of bad situations and, like, oh no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's all, like, kind of led me to these paths, and I keep
That's okay.
Yeah, those are things that I think would really
that
have been consistent
Yeah, definitely.
throughout my life.
No, very good.
Those 4 traits.
Very good personality traits.
So,
personality
some would
traits.
argue otherwise.
Yeah, but those are things that I would look up to. Mm-hmm. Or I do. Like, the determination and the focus and the drive is just, like, so awesome. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I get determined and then it gets hard and then I'm like, no, I don't need to do that anymore.
Well, okay, so you're the one end of that, because there are also many people in my life that I meet who don't like me right off the bat, and haven't since I was, like, 6 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 6, it was the first incident of someone just, like, purposely, like, excluding me because they didn't like me, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I did. Maybe I was bossier than I thought, but for me, I was just excited. I wanted to play. I wanted to do these things, and I would get excited about things to the point where I think that's where I ended up being bossy, because I really wanted it to reenact what was in my head.
Yeah.
I wanted it to come to life.
Yeah.
And so as a child, of course, you have, like, social development, right? So learning to balance that was different. Mm-hmm. But even, like, all up to high school, there are many people that I met, even university, who either said you're intimidating or I didn't like you when I first met you. Yeah. And I had no idea why. Yeah. And so that fed my insecurity, and that's where I wanted to kind of make myself smaller, and I didn't want to stand out too much. Yeah. Shut down things like National Geographic. Yeah. Like, come on. I think I intentionally, subconsciously, intentionally bombed my interview with Chopped Canada. Because I'd gotten in, I didn't think I was going to get in, and I had a phone interview. Yeah. And there was a question in it that I would think about often, that I think I made myself small so that they wouldn't choose me. Right. But that's only, like, a reflective thought, Because in the moment, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to be a star.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, oh, I can't do this TV. Like, oh, I'm no good. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But everyone else around me was able to see, like, no, you're good at cooking. Mm-hmm. You can do this thing if you just lean into it. And then I'm like, nope, psychology.
Yeah.
Skirt, like, crash, burn, boom. Like, no interview for me. I'm not going to foods. I'm not being a cook. I'm not yada, yada, yada. I'm veering off and I'm going to do the academia route, which I was miserable.
Yeah. Oh, academia is not fun.
Yeah.
It is not fun at all.
So, like, I like the brain.
Yeah.
And everything happens for a reason. It leads you to where you are now. But, like, ugh.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So what's one thing that you're excited for in the future that your childhood self would be excited for?
More travels, for sure. I have a lot more motivation to do food kind of related stuff, business related stuff, the entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
And I think with that will come my movie moments.
Yes.
Right? I can feel like the cool main character who's like in this fun little bustling apartment and
yeah,
things like that. Like I've always had this dream of like living in a revamped warehouse apartment.
Yeah.
And I do think I'll achieve that one day.
Yeah.
My adult self wants a vintage home as well, but I think that'd be fun. But I think I'm no longer like stunting opportunities. I'm taking everything as it is. I'm networking where I can just to have things on my plate.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I think my childhood self is like, my ambitious childhood self is going to be very stoked.
Yeah.
To see what I achieve as I get older.
Yeah.
And you?
I like that. My childhood self is very excited to grow more into who I am and kind of like develop back into myself. Mm-hmm. And she's so excited to have a family.
Oh, yeah.
So excited. Mm-hmm. And that was something that was really, really weird for me, was because I was always super excited to get married and have kids. Mm-hmm. But then I told my parents that and they were shocked. I told my mom, I was like, yeah, no, like I'd homeschool my kids. Like, I think that'd be a really good idea. Like, it'd be fun to just spend all day with my children and teach them.
Yeah.
She was shocked. She's like, I had no idea that was something that you wanted to do.
That's funny.
And I was like, why? So now I'm like so curious what it was about me at that time. Because I was like 6. Mm-hmm. I was really young.
Mm-hmm. No, I've always loved like the idea of playing house, and but I also want to travel and jet set and do all these fun things. I've just kind of wanted it all. Yeah. Like 100%. I want my cake and I want to eat it too, and or whatever it is, have my cake and eat it too. Yeah. Whatever that phrase is. And I think I will. I'm also very excited for, I don't know, like I picture a wedding. I want to be married. Yeah. Right? That's so traditional and blah, blah, blah. But like I want kids and I want a marriage. I want to achieve very much what my parents have.
Yeah, definitely.
I admire their relationship. Yeah. And I won't accept anything less than magical. Yeah. And so that's why I know like when it happens, it's going to be exactly what I want it to be. It's going to be my version of my Disney princess moment. Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned family. I am excited for that part of things. I'm not super stoked on the idea of having kids right now. Yeah. But I think I will be once I've kind of like done, like catered my life to myself. And
no, definitely. And I feel like I definitely want to like work on who I am so that I can raise my kids in a healthier environment. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like right now I'm way too reactive.
And here's why people have so many traumas, right? Yes. Is that exact reasoning. And
so that's something that I kind of want to get a little bit more under control before I start having children, so that I can give them the best, I don't know, chance.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, so emotional.
I love that. Oh, so good.
I love that.
Should we wrap it up there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
What are some of your childhood dreams? What are things that you're proud of?
Yes.
What are
some things you've accomplished that your childhood self would just go crazy over?
Yes. Make sure you live for your inner child, because she, he, they are so stoked.
They're so stoked at what you're doing right now. So buy that fun pair of shoes. Yeah. Buy that cool bag. Go on that fun trip. Read that cool book. Don't be afraid what other people are going to think, because it's going to be amazing.
Like, cater your life for yourself, right? And don't stunt yourself because of standards of other people.
Yeah.
That just leads to regret. It's nothing good. Like, make sure you're being your like authentic self and as best you can, as best you know how to, and just experience, have fun, right? Everything's so serious and heavy, and everyone wants to be grown up, and there's no rush.
Get a fun coloring book. Like, explore your creative side.
Yeah.
I don't know, just do fun
However
things.
you want to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love to see
that.
it.
A little positive moment at the end.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening to episode 2. If you made it all the way through, we appreciate it.
Yes.
Follow us on socials.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, all that.
Yes. Leave us a review. I want to start a segment where we like read reviews.
Okay,
I think that'd be fun. We'd actually have to have reviews for that to happen, so that's on you guys.
Yeah. We'll also do some more like listener segments as things come up. As people are interested. So if you have any topics you want, email us, message us. Yeah. Like I said, we'll have everything up on the site for a comment box of that sort.
Yes, exactly.
And
all the ways you can get in touch with us will be in the description of both the video and the audio. So you guys can look there. We'll have our website.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very excited for this.
Yes. And ta-ta for now.
Teach your bed.
Good.